Hey everybody, Jim Malone. Happy Friday to everybody out there. It is Dallas Trading Floor and it is live. We're after the market has closed and tough day on the another tough day on the market. I don't know. It's funny. We're maybe seeing some topping action, anyways. But I do have an interesting thing to show you. The update on that bear call spread that I was talking about yesterday, and hopefully you signed up for the deck on that because we made a little bit of money, not a lot, but we're inching forward and we're moving forward as some of the other things are going south. So I'm going to show you a little bit on that, and just gonna run over some of the stocks that I'm buying today, and then just your questions. So yeah, so everybody, I hope you're having a happy Friday, and I hope that you're getting ready for the big weekend. Unfortunately, the Cowboys lost last night, so that wasn't good. But you can't have everything in this life. You can't have everything. It was so close. It was so close. If and I'm sort of a Cowboys fan, so that's that was kind of it was I thought they were gonna pull it out, but no, not so much. Not so much. Anyways, let's get into it. And thanks again for holding. Well, guess what? I'm gonna kind of so you can see this. I'm trying to get it so so it's a little easier to see than it's been. Basically, the Dow Jones slipping, unfortunately. Index are reversing lower. Apple kind of sold off today. That was kind of disheartening. I didn't like seeing that. But they've got this thing where I don't know. Here's the thing: the pivot point really on Apple is right about 150. Now I have Apple and I'm holding it. But it's kind of it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing with Apple, but I think it's going to pull higher. But today, it just pulled back. So, oh well. But here's the good thing: the market is still in a confirmed uptrend. So that indeed is good. That indeed is a good thing. We're still in a confirmed uptrend. So what do we mean by an uptrend, and why is that important? Well, you really want to try to get some exposure to the market when the market is in a confirmed uptrend. Now, right now we're in a confirmed uptrend. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth. We've had like 3 distribution days on the excuse me, on the Nasdaq. So that's not the greatest, but we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So you want to have exposure to this market. Now, when the market changes, and hopefully it won't, but if it does, and it goes to a market trend under pressure, that's when we want to start getting more into cash. Now, I'm not fully invested currently. I'm about 75% in the market, about 25% in cash, and it's just really lack of finding appropriate targets. That's been my difficulty. I have some things that have been doing well. I've been trying to sort of trim my laggards and feed my superstars. That's kind of the way I've been going at. But there is one stock that I have been buying. Now, unfortunately, it's extended. The reason I bought it today was because I've already bought the stock, so I have a lower cost of ownership on this one. Kind of want to show you this one. It's Matson, Matx, and it's a shipping company, and it's up today. Again, it's got a composite rating of 99. So I just want to kind of point this out. Be careful right now. This stock is extended, so this is not an appropriate time to enter with a new buy on this one. But it is a little extended, but it is the number one in the group, and this group shipping is doing great. It's unfortunately this is the sign of inflation because shippers tend to do well when inflation happens because they can pass along costs, and that's exactly what's happening here. Now, Matson is sort of unique in that it is not a foreign flag carrier. It's actually based in Honolulu, Hawaii, and that gives it certain special things that it certain special advantages it has in shipping. It can move, it can go to multiple U.S. ports at one time. Container companies that are overseas based, that are flagged overseas, can only go to one port in the United States at a time. So if they got to run all the way to Los Angeles, and then they can't go up to like Seattle and go back, they've just got to go all the way back. So with Matson, it's different. They're U.S. flags. They can go to as many U.S. ports as needed, and they're doing very, very well. Now, Zim is another one that's doing very well too. This is the Israeli national shipping line, so it's also very good. But right now, Matson is one, and I've been buying, and I've been doing fairly well on that. So it's been kind of interesting. Now I want to show you the stock of the day. Stock I haven't really done a deep dive on it though. This is the IBD stock of the day. And by the way, if you now I don't get anything from IBD. I wish I did because their stuff is great. But you might want to consider IBD Digital. It's got some very very good information if you're an active trader, or you could just listen to the show because I take a lot of my material from there. But anyways, this has basically got a buy point of 122.41 symbol ENTG. It is up today $3, about 2.56%. It looks like this one might be getting ready to break out. As of late, we have been buying a little bit below the buy points. And the reason we've been doing that is because this is just a market where it moves up to the buy point and it gets some resistance there and then it pulls back. So many of our best buys have been right before they move upwards. So that's the case with ENTG. Interesting thing about this one is, you know, an aggressive buy point, and this is a low buy point because the correct buy point is 126.51. You can go in if you're aggressive on this at 122.41, and that's really an early entry point. You don't want to go in with a full position. You just want to go in possibly with a quarter or a half position. Now, what do I mean by a full position? Well, let's if you imagine your portfolio as a pizza and it has 8 slices. There are 8 full positions typically in your portfolio. So if you have an $8,000 portfolio value, each position is going to be $1,000. You don't want to go into a stock more than $500 in a half position at one time. You don't want to overexpose yourself, especially when you're below that buy point. But that's something that we cover at length usually in the Discord room, which you can find out about, of course, by going to www.dallas Trading Floor. And also, if you're watching on TikTok, just go to my profile, click the link, and you'll get right to an area where you can tap on this. Okay, well, as I promised, I recommended a trade yesterday, and this was a bear call spread on 3M. And the problem with doing these spreads a lot of times is you go do the spread, and then you call back and you ask Jim, say, "Oh, well, I closed that 3 weeks ago." I'm trying to get better at this to show people how I'm trading it, where it's in the market, and what I'm doing because that's really helpful. What we did on this one is we entered this trade yesterday, and basically, the way this worked is we sold a October 15th 190 call for 348, and then simultaneously we bought an one October 15th 195 call for $1.83. So this put into our pocket $1.65 because the selling price, of course, was a little larger than the buying price. Now, hopefully, because it's a bear, not a bull, a bear call spread, we're hoping that the stock price is going to go down. Well, guess what? It did. It went down today, and this is the chart of kind of where it's at. Well, the price when I took this slide was a 184.94. So if you look on this chart, it doesn't quite have it exactly, but the value of this trade now should be about $32. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that if we were to close the trade today, it would cost us 165 minus 32. Um, uh, that's what it would cost us to close the trade, and we would make a $32 profit. So if 3M continues to move south, which I think it probably will, eventually, if it continues to move south, this trade is going to get worth more and more and more and more. And then eventually, once we get to probably about 150, we'll close the trade. Now, of course, this is for one contract, so you might have had multiple contracts on that. If you want to see more about on that trade, it's also very easy to do. All you do is you just go, and I'm gonna put this up right away. You just go to www Dallas Trading Floor, and then it will take you to a to a little menu, and it's the first one on there, and just it says 3M, and just it's jumping up and down. and that's the one you want to that's the one you want to click on to see kind of the progress of the trade. So let me kind of just pull that up there for you so you can see it. Let me just do that. All right, there we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So if you were to go to www Dallas Trading Floor, you would get something that looks like this. All right, and then it would just kind of have this one here. It says bear call spread on 3M. And what I'm doing is if you punch on this button, then I'm updating this each day with how it's trading, so you can see it. So you can see it. It's basically a deck, and basically it looks something like this. And I'm just kind of going to put it up there for everybody. It's gonna look something like this. This is how we entered it, and then this is our progress where we are, and this is sort of what we expect for this. But anyways, this is a kind of a neat little feature that I want to try to see if I could make work for everyone, so that they can see the spread trades, and then they can see the result of that. So let's see. Okay, last news until we and before we get into the slide. Let's see if I can get back to there. Yeah, there we go. All right. Um, so, bef- what I'm going to try to do is show you what stocks I'm currently in, and kind of give you an idea. Well, I've teared down I got sold out of Visa. I was in Visa yesterday. Unfortunately, I had a very tight stop loss on it, and I did sell out of it. So I was out of Visa. Small loss. I wish I didn't have the loss, but there you go. This is the main damage was Apple down $5.10, currently selling for 148. I do expect this probably to trade up, um, you know, in the next few days. I'm not selling it yet, but I'm watching this one. Volume was up, price was down, not liking it. Down about a dollar on Macy's. The volume was up. This one has sort of come even. So I don't know. I may be selling Macy's. It seems like it's weakening. I just can't. It doesn't seem to really want. It seems to kind of. It starts kind of pooping out on me there a little bit. Matson. This is the one when I sold my Visa, I bought more Matson. That's why I did that. Nvidia up again very nicely. This is one that I'm adding to as well. It's ST Micro. They make chips for the automotive company. Very good. Uh, Goldman was down a little bit today, but as long as it's above 400, I'm in it. Probably in it to about 420 or so. Palantir is up to a nice gain. Elmer. This is one that does typically very well during the month of September for some reason. Elmer PKI, it was up. Down on PayPal, little bit disappointing there. And this is one I bought yesterday. Top Build, it's doing quite well. It's up 56. 56 in price. But what's key here is that there's a lot of volume coming in. So very very nice on all of those stocks. So if you want to find out more about that swing trade, that options trade, super easy. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. Okay, so thank you everybody for holding on there. Let's get to some of your questions, and so we can see if we can get everybody going here. All right, LRT. Let me see. Oh, it's LTRX. Let's go to LTRX. Oops, trying to bring it up. There we go. LTRX. I just got a new monitor. I'm very excited. I can I can maybe there we go. Well, trying to move things around a little bit. There we go. Kind of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Okay, so electronics. Let's take a look at this chart and kind of see what we've got here. Well, it's a little extended, as you can see. It's moved above that buy zone. That's the pivot, and then this is the 5% buy zone. So we're a little bit north of that. Nice RX rating here. So let's kind of zoom in a little bit. I'm giving it about 175%. It's about 175% magnification, so everyone can see it. Let's take a look at the checklist. I probably wouldn't be buying this one right now because it is extended. But we do have a very good checklist. The only thing it's off on, of course, is it's under that $10. that to me is a little bit of an issue because funds typically don't buy below that $10. The sales also were not up 20% quarter over quarter. I like to get the ones that are really moving fast. Let's kind of take a look at the sales on this one to see sort of how they were doing. Well, their sales were almost up 20%. This is about as close as you can get. They were up 19%, uh, but more importantly, the profits were up 50%. So really, I can say that that doesn't count because it's one off. So that's it's pretty much the way. So I'm looking at this base on base on base. That's a fairly good pattern, especially considering the stock is selling is so cheaply. So would I buy the stock? Well, there's a few things that I kind of want to look at. This is not investment grade, I'll be honest with you, but it might be, but that doesn't, sometimes matter. It does have, okay, this is key. There are 38 funds in there. So there actually are funds in there. So you know what? I would probably break my rule on this one. And this one does look like it is buyable, basically on the weekly chart. And that's what I'm looking at is the weekly chart. This one does look like it's buyable. And we've got this very nice RS line that's moving up. And we're at a high. So I would say that, right now, this stock is buyable. I would say this one is buyable. So, but I'm going with half position. So, but I would take a one half position. I wouldn't take a full position in this one. So that would be my advice here on this one. Is this one's buyable on with a half position. So very good. Thank you very, very much. That's a great that's interesting. That had not been on my radar screen. That one had not been on our radar screen. So I'm gonna mark that. That's gonna go I'm gonna flag that one because that one is looking good. Very much like that. So let's take the next question. Thank you for these RRT. Let's look at net. And of course, that is, I believe, Digital Turbine. Ultron Digital Turbine. Nope, Cloudflare. I am so sorry. This one is also extended here. You can see we're about. Let's see. Let's see how far above that pivot we are. Just kind of want to see where we're at. Okay. Okay. So we're 40% above the 40-day moving average. We are 2%. We're right at the 21-day average. Here's the thing. I like Cloudflare, but I would be a little bit afraid about buying in this position. And the reason I would because this market is just very unforgiving right now. I don't really want to buy extended. And unfortunately, right now, even though this has a relative strength of 97, everything is looking really good on this. I just think, here's the thing. I would kind of wait until the next bus comes along on this one. Just not because it's good stock, but you just don't want to chase things. And I afraid if you were buying this now, it, it would be, I think it would be difficult. I think it's, I think it's a difficult situation. You don't want to buy this now, so this is extended, and you really need to wait for another base. And that's really kind of that's really kind of the deal. We've got to wait for another base on this one, just because this one is likely to pull back and then consolidate. We want to buy it on that consolidation. So my advice on this one, for what it's worth, is that this is extended. I wouldn't buy this one right now. It's a good stock. It's just too far extended above that buy point, and so I just wouldn't buy it right now. I wouldn't. I think there's a lot of other good setups, so that we don't have to necessarily that we don't necessarily have to do that. Let's take a talk. Let's take something from TikTok. Jim, can you hire me to edit your terrible cutoff videos? Sure, please send, send me. Yeah, I'm sort of a one man band here. I apologize with my videos. But definitely contact me. I think I can put up my phone number. I contact me at www at Dallas Trading Floor at gmail.com. Please, if you want to help me with my videos, which they're horrible, uh, DallasTradingFloor@gmail.com. So thank you for thank you for that. Let's see if we get another one. Thank you for that. But thank you for watching. I do appreciate that, I really do. Let's see. Um, we know you can't see your screen. Absolutely. If everybody's looking at TikTok, unfortunately, I don't have the capability of doing a screen, of showing the screen on TikTok. It's just technically, I'm trying to remedy this, and I'm gonna have to get some more software to do it. But right now, I simulcast everything on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So if you're watching me on TikTok, and you want to see all the charts, very easy to do. All you have to do is go to my profile, click the link, scroll all the way to the bottom, and that there's a YouTube going on there. Just hit that, and you'll see everything as it goes on. So thank you very, very, very much for that. All right, let's go to the next question, and thanks for watching. Let's look at for Crocs. It's interesting. Crocs are interesting. I don't have Crocs, but I tell you something. They must be doing something right because it seems as if people are paying hundreds of dollars for their plastic shoes, which I can't figure out. But then again, if they had to depend on me for fashion buying, they would starve. They would absolutely starve. So let's look at the Crocs chart here. Well, it looks as if we are, unfortunately, once again, we are a little bit extended. Let's see if I can go back to the weekly chart and see. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The flat base, which was the last base, was at 109.91. Currently, we're at 144.11. So we're pretty far extended above that base. So if you aren't already in Crocs here, it's it's a little bit dangerous to buy at this level just because we're so far extended. Now, some stocks never form a base, but I would be careful with this one. We're at relative strength of 98, which is excellent, but if you were to buy here, there is a possibility that it could move. It could pull back on us. So that's my only concern with this. This is a great stock. This is a great looking chart, but unfortunately, it's quite far above it's quite far above its last flat base, which was basically stage two flat base, and the pivot was 109.91. Well, right now, it's at 144. Now, let's take a look at the pricing to see how far off of the I wanna see how far off of the, 40-day line this is. Okay, it says SMA 40. If you I think you can see maybe you're able to see this on there. It's 47. Boy, that's a lot. So, you know what? I just think that I like this stock. This is a good stock, but this is just too far extended. So here's the thing with this one. I wouldn't buy this one because it's extended. I think you really need to wait for another base on this one before you buy this one. So this one is extended, and you don't want to buy extended stocks, especially not in this market. And what I mean by extended is that it's exceeded its base. So we don't want to be buying extended. So unfortunately, this one is extended. So I think you need to wait for another base on Crocs. But it's a great stock. It's a great stock. You just sometimes you have to let the bus go by and get another bus because it's gone the other way. Question: Are you still in Macy's? Yes, unfortunately, I am still in Macy's. Let's pull up that. I'm going to show you where my stop loss is on Macy's. Okay, so here we go on Macy's. Basically, I have a stop loss, basically right at the 40-day line. I'll kind of show that for you. It's right here. It's this little red line. This is where I have my stop loss set. So let's go and see if we can there we go. My stop loss on this one is at 1910. Currently, we're at 2066. So we're pretty darn close to that. This is on the bubble for me. I'm hoping that we're going to get some support here. But this one is on the bubble for me. I'll be honest with you. My stop loss is 1910 on this one. So I'm very, very close to possibly selling it. I have a small gain on this one, but right now, I am, probably gonna be trimming this one. Probably gonna be the trimming this one. But that's where my my stop loss is going to be is. Okay, thank you. Jim, do you think Apple will be back up and down again? It'd be hard to break. Yeah, resistance definitely. Resistance is right at about 150 on Apple. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, there we go. I'm going to put it on the daily chart so we can see it. Okay. With Apple, we this is the issue right here, of course, and that is, and you can see it went through the alert. It's at 149. So this is what happened. I do think that we're gonna see this one bounce tomorrow. Not tomorrow, excuse me, on Monday, excuse me. I do think we're gonna see a bounce on Apple tomorrow, but I want to look at that interday chart to see kind of what happened. Yeah, look at that. Look at how it opened. It was at 155 going into today, and the first two ticks were up, and then whammo, it went all the way down while losing $6. That's incredible. Nothing has changed at Apple. They're still making iPhones and they're making lots of profit. But but this probably will bounce. It does. I can see why 149 was the bounce. But I do think that we could move right up to about one. We could close on Monday at about 153. I think this is going to bounce tomorrow, based on looking at that 5 minute chart. So that's kind of how I view it. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, Visa isn't doing very well either. I want to and I want to tell everybody here. I was like, oh yeah, I'm buying Visa, and I did buy Visa. You know what? I got stopped out. I got stopped out of Visa. I want to show you this one. I bought it at the first. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Um, I bought it really at the first chance because I like this. I like the company, but this is the problem. As they say, buy on technicals. Buy on technicals, but buy on fundamentals and technicals, but sell on technicals. Well, I had to sell on this one because it violated my stop loss. I mean, there's no way, there's no other way there's no other way to say it. This one violated what I did is as it peaked above this reversal line, I'm gonna reactivate that reversal line. Yep, hopefully. Yeah, when it violated that reversal, that's where I bought it, and then it's pulled back. So I'm out of this one. I am basically out of Visa, and I was stopped out. I was stopped out basically at my stop loss is at 220 is at 226. So basically, right. Let me could put this in there. I was stopped out right at 226. Right there, we show it. I'm gonna, right. Basically, this is where I was stopped out, and unfortunately, it violated it. So I'm all out. I'm all out of Visa. What had happened on the 8th, I purchased a full position, and my stop loss was at 226. It violated it, so I'm out. But I wish that it had, but you got to take. That's why when you first go into a stock, when it moves above that reversal or a place that you want to buy it, you put those stop losses in very tight because many times it won't have enough power and it'll pull back and then you'll be out. But it's better than that way you preserve your capital. So what I recommend, especially if you're below a buy point when you're buying, is to put that stop loss in at about 3% down from where you bought it, less than 7%. So if you buy something at 100, you put that stop loss in at about 97, and that way you protect yourself because a lot of times when a stock is trying to move through a pivot, it will fail and it will not make it through, and that's what happened with Visa, unfortunately. So there you go. UPS, I am seeing a fill gap at 201.25 to 201. Where's your buy point? Okay, let's look at UPS. Thanks, Mark. And I love your trades, by the way. I don't have time to get to everything. I've been sort of busy, but thank you for sharing that with us. With the email. But let's look at UPS. See if yeah. Okay, that was definitely kind of a gap filling thing. So let's go over here. I'm going to take a look at the 30-minute chart for this. Yeah. Okay, we did heavily have kind of Gap fill here. Look at that 30-minute chart. Okay, this is for UPS. Yeah, and then it did came, and it's going to come right back up. So that's interesting. That's interesting on UPS. I am not currently trading UPS, but I have this is have the reversal right now. UPS is in a downward trend. Um, right now, it is in a bit of a downward. Yeah, there we go. Right now, UPS is in about a downward trend. That's why I have this is why I have this line on it. This reversal line. So I probably would not be a buyer. I mean, I definitely think it can fill the gap, but I probably would not be a buyer until it at least came up to this line, and which currently, as of today, I wouldn't buy this unless it moved above about 210. So we're a little bit low there, but the relative strength line is moving up, so that's good. We do have some nice volume in there. That's good. And we're through earnings, which is very important for a company like UPS. So I don't know. That's that's kind of a tough one. That's kind of a tough one. Let's look at Ulta Beauty. I did have a spread on Ulta Beauty. I did close it early because it just wasn't working for me, unfortunately. Um, but let's take a look at Ulta. It's right above it's it's in the range. Alta is definitely in the range. Gonna pull it up. Okay. See if I can. There we go. This is the buy point here, 356.31. It pulled above that, but it's been in this buy zone, and then it pulled up, and then it got resistance. So it does seem like it does seem like it's kind of just walking up the 21-day line. So you probably I wouldn't sell this one because it's getting support right at the 21-day line. So that is a good thing. It's a good company. It's just it's tough. This is a tough market to trade, and yeah, you see it's right at the top of the buy zone. So if you're in this thing, I wouldn't sell this yet. I just wouldn't sell this yet. Now, where I would put my stop loss on this one, I'd put my stop loss at 356.31. 356.31 is what they call the pivot, and that's where I would put my stop loss on this one. But if you're in this one right now, I do think that Arun, I do think that you definitely can hold it. I definitely think you can hold it. I do think we're going to see it go move higher because it's definitely moved higher. It's definitely moved higher. We've moved, it's moved really since July. It hasn't been a straight line up, but it's definitely moved up. So, and it's above the buy zone just barely. So it's still actionable. So you know what? I would hold this one. I probably wouldn't be going in with all feet on this one, but I still think this is a very, very good stock, and we've had a lot of buying. Now, one of the things that is kind of an issue, we did have a lot of volume back here on basically when it went through earnings, and we did have a lot of selling on the day after earnings. But that's not that unusual. That happens a lot, especially with retail stocks. People will hold them right into earnings and then sell them, and then because they can, especially with retail stocks, they can move extremely. They can have extreme moves on earnings. Good or bad, good or bad. All right. Let's take another question from TikTok. Thank you very, very much. Talk about Neo. Okay. Well, I know that a lot of people, I sound like such Debbie Downer. I'm like, oh, because I was trading Neo a lot last year, but it's, the funny thing about the stock market, at least from my experience, is that sometimes the things that were good, last year might be not so good this year, and I think that's the case with Neo. It's been in this downward trend, and I just, mm, I just don't think you want to be in it. Now it does have still has a relative strength of 60. I like to see at least 80. It's in this downward trend, and we're below not only the 200-day line, the 40-day line, the 21-day line, but we're also below the 10-day line. So I'm sorry to be such a negative Nelly on this one, but I think it's time. if you're down more than 7%, um, if you are down more than 7%, consider selling now. So that's kind of that's kind of my taste. That's kind of my that's kind of my take on it. If you're down more than 7% um, on Neo, if you're down more than 7% on Neo, really, really, really consider selling it. Why? Because you just don't want to catch a falling knife. It just don't want to catch a falling knife on this one. And I'm looking at Neo and the chart, and it's just telling me it's just telling me that this one is not where we want to be. I mean, yeah, we just don't want to be on this one. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I understand. So let's see about Home Depot. Now, this I think Home Depot is a bit of a different story than Neo is. Home Depot is it's in a sideways motion right now, but overall it's really really good. There's some resistance right at 338 on this one that I kind of want to zoom in and show you there. Let's zoom in a little bit here. I kind of want to show you this action, and let's see if we can get it a little bigger on the screen. There we go. Okay. Do you see how? Oops. We have this cup here. This is a cup with handle, and this is the buy point right here. The buy point being basically at 333.45. That's where it has resistance. As you can see, it has moved down. It went up to the pivot and it's moved down. And now it's moving back up. Now, typically when you have handles like this, you would draw a reversal line like that. And the reason that you would is because that's typically the way that they're going to trade. So, could you buy and my system is messing up. Could you buy this one? Yes, because in the short term, it's getting resistance right at this 338. But what I would recommend on this one, if you're not in this one, and I think this is a great stock, by the way, is to do something called a buy stop limit order. And basically, the way that works is the buy stop limit order. You said basically the stop is equal to 338, and then the limit is equal to 338.10. All right, and the way this works is, and the way this works is that if you do a buy stop limit order, as it moves above this 338, it as, as it moves above this 338 right here, as it penetrates it, that's where it will buy it, but it won't buy it underneath that. And why is that so important? Well, the reason that's so important is because this is going to eventually move beyond the pivot, but you don't want to buy it until it does. I do think that this is a very good stock, and I do think it's buyable, but I wouldn't buy it below 338 just because that's sort of the um, that's sort of the way it that's sort of the way it is. So I wouldn't buy this below 338. I wouldn't buy it below. So the way that you can automatically capture this is as it's moving above that buy stop limit, where that stop would be at 338, and then the limit would be 338.10. So what this does is if the stock moves above 338, it immediately puts an order in for 338 up to 338.10. So it'll buy it anywhere from 338 to 338.10. Beyond that, below that, I don't really want to buy it, and I don't really want to buy it too much above it. So this is a way that you could catch it as it's moving higher. Now let's check the volume because that's the real key. It does appear, based on what I'm looking at in terms of the volume, it does appear that we have high volume. So it's the weak hands are getting flushed out, and it looks as if people are going to have to start taking these bids. So I do believe that it's going to push through this 338. Now, when that will happen, probably next week, probably before Wednesday. So that's why I recommend doing the buy stop limit order because you'll catch it as it's moving higher. I do think that this is going to move higher based on everything I'm seeing. I want to kind of look at checklist on it. It doesn't have a great checklist. I'll be honest with you. It's only 56%. Typically I like to buy them at least at 66%. Now, it is failing in certain areas. The relative strength line, we know about that one. It's not being accumulated as much as it was by some of the big funds. So we got to be careful there too. And the earnings last quarter, and this is kind of what's being punished, are not up as much. They're not up 20%, and the sales are not up 20%. But remember, this is a massive company, so that is less important when you get to this market cap. Let's kind of take a look at the. Let's do a little bit of the fundamental analysis. What I'm doing over here is the fundamental analysis. This is the technical analysis over here, fundamental over here. On the it only the sales were up 8% last quarter. Well, th- I would be thrilled if I had a company that was up 8%. But in this world, that's a miss, okay? Because the two prior quarters, it was up 33% and 20%. If it's up 20% a quarter, if sales are up 20% a quarter, those are the horses you want to be riding because the sales increases are not good enough. And as you can see, they had profits up 13%, but last quarter they were up 86%. So if you do want to buy this one, I probably would not be a buyer in this one, but if you did want to buy it, I would recommend this buy stop limit order way of doing it. I'm probably going to go for a faster horse than Home Depot, just because right now it doesn't appear that it doesn't appear that it is as good as it could be. As it could be. So that's what I would say on this one. I would be, you know, I probably would not be going into Home Depot. All right. Thank you. Oh, hey, thank you, Stevie. Looking good. Getting into options trading after placing options trade. Is there a way to get out if needed? Absolutely, boy. I should tell you this. Absolutely. You basically just reverse the trade. What you do is you just reverse the trade. Let me see if I can kind of show you sort of how this works because that's a very very good question by the way. I that's a very good question. So let me see if I can go to the trade that we did. We've been doing on we've been doing on 3M. So let me see if I can get that. Uh, did I put that in there? I don't know if I did. Hold on. So I'm going to put. Let's take a look. No, I don't have the actual. Let's go to. Let's see if I can. I want to bring up the actual calculation of everything here. And this is one of the kind of the more mysteries of option trading. It isn't really a mystery, but I don't think they cover this adequately. So I'm going to go to the. Did I have it in there? No. Okay, so I can go back to the slide. Well, anyways, what happens with this, and I will show you this, Stevie, is that if you go to um, if you go to the slide deck, and I'll go over here to the slide deck. If you go to the slide deck, show you this. What we have here, and this is what I put out typically to everybody that's signed up on this, is it comes down to this to this chart here. Now I've annotated this today. So what you do to get out of this trade, you can see this is how you get into the trade. You sell this, but when you get out of the trade, basically you buy this back and you sell this. So you just reverse this. So it will come out at a number hopefully positive on this. But for right now, the way you can track this is there is something called the options profit calculator. I kind of want to show it to you. Options profit calculator. And one of the great things about this is if you do a trade in there. So let's say we're doing this Apple trade. Let's just view this Apple trade. I haven't put this one out there. I'm working on this one right now, but I'm gonna calculate this Apple spread trade. Well, I get into the trade, and it's gonna tell us here, it's gonna show us kind of how to get into the trade. This is how we get into the trade. But let's say it comes along and I wanna close that trade because the trade's going against me. So what I do is with the option profit calculators, I just put the cursor on there, click on that, and then it shows me how to get out of that trade. We're just really reverse that. So taking so the total cost. So if I were to go into this trade, this is an Apple trade, by the way. This is just for demonstration. I haven't put this one out there. We would buy the 15 October 130 call, 130 put, and then we would simultaneously sell the October 150 put for these prices, giving us a total net credit into our account $416. Let's say, for instance, well, the trade's going against us, and the price, unfortunately, of Apple is continuing, is falling some more, and we just say, well, we made a mistake, we got to get out of it. It's fallen 5%. We just want to get out of it. So we just click that on the Office Profits Calculator, and then this is how we get out of the trade by selling the one that we bought, and then by buying the one that we sold. And then that's going to cost us 709. So we would lose $300 on this trade if that were the case. So that is basically how you do it. Now, here's the thing with that, Stevie. If you want to get more information on that, I talk about this all the time in the Discord room, and it's very easy, of course, to to get to get in on that. All you have to do is go to www.dallasatradingfloor.com, and that's going to give you it's gonna look that's going to give you access to the Discord room. So let me just show you that. I'm going to put that in here. Oh well, it didn't work there, did it? Uh, there we go. I think it's going to work now. Well, I'm just typing in DallasTradingFloor.com. There we go. So basically, what's going to happen when you go to DallasTradingFloor.com, it's going to look like this. And then we do have a private Discord room, and but you can do this on your own too. But I'm in there every day, and hopefully I can answer your questions. So the bear credit spread we put out there, that's sort of the offline version. But then if you need kind of online stuff, it's going to be right here, and this is kind of what it looks like. And it is a subscription fee on that, but a lot of people believe it's well worth it. So just kind of wanted to show you that, to show you that. But thank you for asking the question. All right, let's look at TDC to see what's going on there. TDC. There we go, and that's Teradata. Teradata. This is an interesting company too. I'm sure a little backstory on this one. This is one of the first companies that, kind of like Oracle, created a relational database. And this company was originally spun off from from um, from NCR, National Cash Register. A very interesting company, but it's one of the oldest database companies out there. And they do have some excellent contracts. Now, here's what's going on with Teradata. We're in the consolidation range. The pivot on this one is about 59.58. Okay, what that means is that's kind of where it's seeing a little bit of resistance, unfortunately. What happened today? I don't know what happened today, but we had a lot of selling going on here, and this is not looking good. There's a lot. Somebody cried uncle here because this is an abnormally large amount of selling. And as you can see, it's pulled right down to the 40-day line. Now, the question is on Monday, if it holds that, then we're okay. Then it's just a bounce. Then it'll probably move up. But be very careful. I would not be a buyer at this point. I kind of watch this and wait. I would definitely wait on this one and watch this is because because we want to see if it can hold this line here. And I'm going to put a little alert on that. And basically that is at about 51, where that is. So I want to say, alert And I'm just going to put it as an alert. So if we hold this and it moves above this point, and then I think we could possibly look at buying it. But right now, it's a watch list because of this action. I just would not buy it as it's pulling back. This is a falling knife. Now, hopefully, it'll get support of the 40-day line. That's this red line, but it might not either. But let's take a look at the other things. It's got an excellent checklist, 78%. That's looking good. Let's look at, boy, a lot of funds in that, 554 funds. So that's very, very good. That's one thing I really like to see is those funds in there because that is the good housekeeping seal of approval. I very much like the fundamentals on this one too. Sales were up. Now, the sales were up only 7% last quarter, but they were up. So it seems like we are moving from a negative sales decreases to a sales increases. So that's very good. What I really like seeing is the last quarter, the profits were up 208%. Let's just kind of look to see when we're expected. So we're through earnings. We're expecting next earnings on November 15th. No, November 5th, excuse me. So we have some time. So this is good. This is a good time to buy it. Um, this might be if this reverses higher. Might not be a bad place to get in, but don't buy it now. It's a falling knife. Let's see what happens. This is a classic case of buy and rumor, sell on news because they came through earnings. The earnings were really great, but people sold anyways. This is very, very common. By the way, if you're buying a stock, when you enter the stock, try to not enter it before earnings if you can. At least you try to be at least 2 weeks out. And then as you're coming into earnings, if you're not up and you don't have a profit cushion of about 10%, consider selling maybe even half of it or all of it, waiting for it to come through earnings and then buying it on the other side because these earnings can be brutal. I mean, even if the earnings go up, a lot of times the stock will pull back. So right now on this one, I think with you just got to watch this one for Teradata. It's a good company, it's a good chart, but it is just really not where you want to buy it. You want to watch this one, see how it trades on Monday, Tuesday, and then if it shows strength, then get back into it. But right now, no, I probably don't want to be on that. Okay. Can we take absolutely? Let's look at INRT. Let's look at INRT. INRT would help if I let's see if I can get that. There we go. I'm just gonna INRT. No, no, I am sorry. I don't. It doesn't seem to INRT. I'm sorry. It does not seem like that is working. Unfortunately. All right. So let's go. Question on the. Let's look at the deer bull put spread. Okay. So we did do another one here for the deer bull put spread, and let's kind of take a look to see kind of where that one might be. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm just going to pull up the slide deck on that one. Okay. Right. So put that over there and see if I can get this to minimize here a little bit. Let's just kind of do this. Okay. So let's look at a deer and pull this up. So basically, what happened here with deer is deer has been unfortunately moving lower. So this is the original heat map for deer. So currently it's at 362.50. So let's kind of look to see. 362.50 unfortunately is is down here. So blow this let's blow this one up and look to see where 362.50 is to see if we want to possibly close that. Okay. So at 362.50, basically what's happening is currently currently because of the way deer is trading, the value of this spread it should be off about $99. Now that might not be exactly where it's at, but it's sort of here. So we started here and we have moved unfortunately lower. So what do we want to do? Well, I'm going to watch this one because if we get far more down the track, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this spread out and down. But right now, let's look at the trend on deer to see, if that is reasonable to take that as a course of action. So here we go. I do believe, based on this chart, that deer is getting some support at the 40-day line. So we should see what happens on Monday with this. Right now it's at 361, but it seems to be getting support because it's basically been on this line 1, 2, 3 days. So I do kind of expect that we should, if it has tested the 40-day line. So my guess is we're going to probably see it move up, and the reason why is because of these bars here. These are the volume bars. And as you can see, these are all selling bars, but they're decreasing. And what's key about that is when the selling volume is decreasing, that means fewer and fewer weak hands are there. So eventually, the weak hands will not be taking the bids, and people will be taking the ask. So this correlates very closely with the test of this line. So my guess is as the volume dries up for the sellers, deer is probably going to move higher. That's based on so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, if that's the case, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm not going to do anything here. Now, if we don't hold that 40-day line, then possibly if it moves below about 365, then I'm going to consider an alternative action. I'm either going to close the trade or I'm going to move it down and out. And that will cost me a little bit, but I'll move it down and out. So right now I'm going to just wait on this one. And basically this is sort of where we are today. As you can see, I've marked it here. This is where it should stay. So the correct value for this should be about a $99 loss. If deer gets support, basically on this line here, let's put it in there. If it gets support there and moves higher, then this trade should start moving back up closer to the green zone. And hopefully, this is not very much because this is 167 here. This is 175. So this is not a whole lot. This is only about 2%. So if it moves up about 2 to 2.5%, we'll be back into the green. We'll just have to see. So right now, Ronald, I'm going to be I'm probably going to be holding this one until I can find out if we're going to get support at that 40-day line. So thank you for that question. I appreciate it. And by the way, if you want to I'm going to try to update these charts and have a list so that you can easily go and take a look at my annotations on these charts, how I'm trading them, where I was in, where I was out, and if I made any money or lost money on them. So I'm working on that in the next few days, and hopefully I'll get that. I'll get a system so that it's easy to refer back to that. But I appreciate that very much. Appreciate the question. All right. Oh, IRNT. Let's look at IRT. Thank you for that. Thank you for correcting that. I know a lot of the symbols, but I don't know them all, unfortunately. So it's really helpful when you give me a symbol. It really is because that way I can go right to right to it. All right. This one is an interesting stock. This is a kind of stock that I typically don't trade just because of the difficult, just because this is very thin. Typically, here's what I like to see when I'm trading a stock. I want to see a stock typically that trades at least a million a day. This one does definitely trade that, and there's an awful lot of There's an awful lot of volume on this one, so I don't exactly know what's going on with this one, but it looks like this stock has been around. It's about a year, and then all of a sudden it's traded up. So designs and cybersecurity solutions. So they must have gotten something, or there must be some kind of squeeze going on here because their sales are down, and of course they're not making any money. So there's really not a whole lot for me to grab onto here. I mean, you could buy this one and then immediately put a stop in and move it up. That's probably how you would have to trade it. This is not a stock you want to invest in. But so my way of playing this was, you know what, I probably would pass on this one. I probably would pass on this one. You possibly can make money, but it looks like it's moved down almost 5% after hours. So I would be a little bit concerned. I would be a little bit concerned with this stock. It's just this one's going to be a tough one to trade. Well, I have come to the end of the hour, and I thank you so much for everybody taking a look. If you want to, if you want to sign up for the free Action Trade Alerts, very very easy to do. Just go to www Dallas Trading Floor and it's super easy. This is my direct email if you need to get that, dallastradingfloor at gmail.com. So, but until I'll be back on Monday, and I'm sort of doing these new hours because it's better for me to go after hours. That way, it's really not how a stock opens; it's how it closes. So that's kind of what I'm probably going to be doing in the future. I will be back on Monday, basically at 3:35 about, so right after the close, till for about another hour with all your questions. And I so appreciate everybody, everybody signing up. And I mean, taking a look at the show. Please tell your friends. I always like that when that happens. So until Monday at 3:35. Happy trading and have a very nice weekend. And we're this is going to be hopefully a very nice weekend. Finally cooling off here in Dallas, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll be out at the pool. See you on Monday. Happy trading.